Hey guys, Texans Girl here, along with William Harvey, and we are here to talk about the Texans game today against the Cleveland Browns. All I can say is that was one of the worst football games I've seen in years. That was horrible. It was really tough to watch. I mean, it was three to nothing at halftime. I didn't even think that we would even score. In fact, I thought we'd be shut out. We would be freaking shut out. But finally, we scored with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's just getting kind of laughable right now for as a Texans fan. I think the thing, when I was listening to the announcers, I'm like, give me a freaking break. I think the announcers today were jokes. I remember one of their comments was, this is as good as of offensive line as you can get when they're talking about the Texans. The Texans line is as good as you can get. Are you freaking kidding me? Stop right there. They were terrible today. The announcers were terrible. The game was terrible. The weather was terrible. The Cleveland Browns were terrible, with the exception of that run game. Nick Chubb was back after a knee injury, Kareem Hunt, and they kicked our ass. They rushed for over 200 freaking yards. Each one of them rushed for over 100 yards, which is pathetic considering our lead rusher rushed for what? He didn't even rush for 60 yards. That's a joke. Once again, the Texans have one of the worst run games in the NFL. We've got one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. How weird is that? Anyway, you know what? People can say, well, we only held them to 10 points. Well, it really should have been 17 points because Nick Chubb ran out of bounds at the 1 yard line with less than 30 seconds left because he was really smart and knew that all they had to do was kneel and win the football game. So it should have been 17-7. Okay, that's how the game should have ended, but still, I'm not giving credit to our defense. I'm just not, because I don't think that Baker Mayfield played that great. He didn't. I know there was weather components. Fairbairn missed a field goal. We had the chance at a field goal, and we did a fake punt, and it just was an ugly, boring game. I really panned a lot to the Packers-Jaguar game because I'll tell you, frankly, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are on my fantasy team, and I needed the points. I could not stand to watch the Texans anymore, and I thank God for DirecTV ticket because I didn't have to watch that mess. The people that don't have that in Houston, they were stuck with the Texans game. That's all they had, unless if they were at a restaurant or bar and watching some other game. If they're at home, that's the only games they could watch. And all I can say is I had to turn other games on because I could not stand watching that debacle that I saw today versus the Texans and the Browns. The Packers barely beat the Jaguars, which was very embarrassing. Aaron Rodgers had a good game, and so did Davante Adams, but still, they almost lost, and they could have lost. They avoided the upset. That was an interesting game. I watched the Buccaneers come back, and they didn't come, meaning they came back from that horrible debacle last Sunday night against New Orleans, but they handily beat the Panthers today. And then the late games were the better games. Watching the Steelers kick the Bengals' butts, which was not a surprise. Big Ben looked good. I think the thing about the Steelers to me is their defense. The Steelers' defense is dominant. They're really, really good. And the Steelers, in my opinion, are the number one team in the NFL right now. So that's my opinion there. We also watched the and I keep on wanting to call them the Oakland Raiders, so it's kind of strange. To me, they're Oakland. But the Las Vegas Raiders beat the Broncos. I watched that game. Derek Carr looked good. Josh Jacobs looked good. And the Raiders defense looked good today against the Broncos and handily beat them. keeping them in the playoff hunt. And then the game that surprised me was the Seahawks-Ram game. I thought that they would play better. I really thought the Seahawks would have a better game. Russell Wilson did not play well, and it's going to take Russell Wilson playing an MVP season. And he early on was my favorite for the MVP. And he had a disappointing game. The Seahawks defense is horrible, to say the least. So the Seahawks really need to get it together if they're going to move on. And like I said, Russell Wilson will have to have an MVP season the rest of the way for the Seahawks to even contend for the Super Bowl at the NFC. The game that really was heartbreaking to me, and it was a great game, and that was the Buffalo-Arizona game. That was a great game until the end. I thought Buffalo had that game. You have to hand that to Josh Allen, because that dude played one hell of a game. Him and Stephon Diggs looked damn good. The defense, Buffalo's defense looked great. But you got to hand it to Kyler Murray in those last seconds of the game in the Hail Mary. And who caught that ball? Texans fans? Hop caught it. Best wide receiver in football. And it makes me sick to my stomach. And that's why I'm going to say this again. Bill O'Brien should be banned from football. Bill O'Brien should never coach football again. Now, if the Dallas Cowboys want to pick up Bill O'Brien, that's fine to me, because I can't stand the Cowboys. But Bill O'Brien, he makes me physically nauseous, what he did to my team. What that bastard did to my football team makes me sick. Not only with draft picks, not only with getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Every time I watch Arizona, and I like Arizona, it makes me physically sick. I can't stand it. Ooh, Harvey heard something. He got mad too. He doesn't like it either, because he liked Harvey. Anyway, very, very sickening, but I'm glad that Arizona pulled that out. But Buffalo played one hell of a game. Josh Allen, really, really good. And looking at the standings, to me, when you look at the best teams out there in the AFC, I'm going to rank them again, and it's a little bit different from last week. I'm going with the Steelers as my number 1 pick. I'm going with the Chiefs as number 2. Number 3, I'm going with Buffalo. I know I disrespected Buffalo last week, but I'm going with Buffalo number 3, because I think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and I think Buffalo's defense is what's up, and I think Buffalo's number 3. I'm going with the Ravens at 4, Tennessee at 5, and I know that the Colts beat Tennessee on Thursday, but there's something, my gut feeling says that Tennessee is better than Indianapolis, and that's just my opinion. And then number 6, I'm going with the Raiders as number 6. So those are the top teams in the AFC for me. In the NFC, number 1 team is the New Orleans Saints. Hopefully Drew Brees will be back next week. I know he didn't play the second half because he had a rib injury, but I'm going with New Orleans as number 1. I'm going with Tampa number 2. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals at number 3. Green Bay at 4, because I don't think Green Bay played well at all today against Jacksonville. And I'm going to go with Seattle at number 5. Seattle and the Rams, to me, are hand in hand. If Russell Wilson can carry that team, I think Seattle can do something. But their defense is bad. It's bad. It's almost as bad as the Texans, if not worse. So I'm not even going to mention the NFC East, because the NFC East is a joke to football. They just are. You guys know what I'm talking about. They just are not. They should even be in a conversation, because I know they're going to go to the playoffs, but they're going to do nothing. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, tough loss. Number 1 priority right now is a coaching search. And if it were up to me, Romeo Crennel, I think he's a good guy, but he is not the answer. I'm going with Eric Bieniemy. He's my number 1 choice. We need an offensive-minded coach that's going to get Deshaun Watson where he needs to be. I love Deshaun. He's the leader. He is the franchise, and he's a future of our team. Anyway, guys, I love your feedback. Thank you. Negative comments, bring them on. I can always use your opinion to get better. And like I said, really tough loss today. We play the Patriots next week. Anyway, I forgot to talk about that game tonight. That was a really exciting game, the Patriots and the Ravens game. Expected everybody picked the Ravens to win. And I don't know why. You know, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I'm a Cam Newton fan, and I'm kind of glad they won. Anyway, I'm rooting for Cam Newton. He's the main person that I like is Cam. I don't know why, I just do. But that was a really good game tonight. So we have the Patriots next week. Hopefully we'll have a good, something good to report. All we can do is get better. And hope everybody has a great week. Peace out.